All right, you gits. We're here to crump some lists. Whoa! All right, guys. Some of you sent me some lists. We're going to go over them, get some feedback from the community, from the chat, see what you guys got to say. And you guys can see what our Discord starts to look like, what ideas are getting thrown around in our great whoa! All right. So right off the bat, we got Jugger. Sorry, I might have said your name wrong, buddy. So let's take a look at his list. We got a Beast Boss with Super Cyborg Body, Gazgul Mag Urtraka as the Warlord, Mazra Scragbag, Nob on Smash Squig Edwapa's Kill Chopper. That's how I like to see it. And then we got Cunning but Brutal. Okay, so he bought 3 enhancements. Okay, again, I see you. For Battle Line, he just has one 10-man unit of Beast Snagga Boys, just for the Beast Boss, of course. 2 trucks, followed by 1 Gretchen unit. 2 3-man units of killicans, each with rockets. That's what I like to see. Great. They're a great option with the rockets. That's my favorite. No question about it, because they can actually have the ability to ignore cover. So that makes the rockets just invaluable. It's essentially -3 AP. Since everything's running around with AP now. I mean, with cover nowadays. So being able to ignore it's a big deal. Then we have 1 unit of commandos. What does he bring? He got the Power Claw, and he has the Breaching Ram. All right, fantastic. So I think the biggest value is just the Breaching Ram. The bomb, obviously, the bomb squig itself is great value in the Power Claw. I don't see. Maybe you can make an argument for the Flamer sometimes. Maybe going into Gaunts. Maybe you're about to run up on a Lictor or something. You feel like flaming him. Weird things like that. But as a whole, that's what I just want to see it as. Commandos, straight up, ready to go. I don't think you need Snickrot, so just them on their own is good. We have Mega Knobs, 3-man unit, of course, going with Gaz. I think 3 is that key number as well. When there's 2, it's almost like not enough bodyguards, in my opinion. He's still too susceptible to some things. Like you can just use grenades to start to just you can shoot some of them away and then start throwing grenades into Gaz. You don't really want that to happen. So you need at least 3 of those bodyguards. I think 3 is that good number. Of course, I'm a big fan of twin kill saws. Never gonna get nothing wrong about having the twin kill saws. The AP, the great strength, makes it so that even though you're hitting on 4s, it offsets that with extremely reliable mortar wound potential. So even though they're really just primarily that they get killed, as a whole, when they do get into combat, you like that they're reliably wounding everything, especially with Gaz's buff. Then you have 1 unit of knobs, Scalpel unit, but in the downsized version. So it's only a 5-man unit with the war boss. That's still pretty good, and that unit can, if the enemy armor is contempt, you won't really kill a whole brick of Terminators, but you can definitely maim a unit of Terminators with that. You can destroy a bunch of different Power Claw kind of units with, Power Claw, Power Armored kind of units in that. So I still enjoy even the small Scalpel unit. 2 3-man units of Squighog Boys. Squighog Boys without characters is fine, but even if you run a 3-man unit with Edwapa's Kill Chopper, that's okay. Now, do I think I would like to see this as 1 brick? Yes. I don't know if this is a typo or anything like that, but I would actually like to see these combined into just 1 big brick with your Edwapa's Kill Chopper guy. And then you have 1 Storm Boys unit, nor War Bikers. So I don't know if I'm missing a War Biker or something from there, but this is what I got from Judge. So what do we see here? So what I'm seeing a little bit of lack of is we don't see a lot of the trucks that we're used to. We don't see a lot of the Storm Boys with the Spiker units that we see for those kind of quick objective grabbing, screening out units, such like that. So that means you're going to have to find a way to make these killicans get on the table, because in my opinion, even though most people are going to say I'm just going to put my killicans, walk up the table, it might be a better option to strategic preserve one of these units, if not both of them, and try to come in on the flanks and just immediately provide pressure along your flanks, because that big unit of Squighog Boys has a more potential to running up the board. You still have the truck with the Beast Snagga Boys, the truck with the knobs that you're going to have to be kind of staging anyways somewhere around the mid board. In my opinion, that's where you're going to want them. And then the commandos can actually stage as well to make sure your Squighog Boys don't get move blocked. And they actually give you a capability to already make your way up the board so that your killican can come in from strategic reserves. Now, of course, there's always the option if you don't want to put the killicans in reserves, it's okay to put Gaz himself in reserves. Bringing him in from rapid ingress is a great way to kind of bring in a nasty powerhouse from the flanks. The issue is that when you do call wall, you do want him to kind of be in the middle of the table. So it might just be better to straight up run out there and enjoy his capability of the wall to give them lethals and everything like that. So what do I think the strength of this list would be? I would say the fact that you do have a good amount of AP on this list. You have more than just damage 2 with these killer cans and damage 3 when both assets of the profile. It's really going to be about, can you get these killer cans to get off? And I would most likely put them into reserves for that. I would use this big unit of Squinghog boys in the middle, Miles in the middle, Gaz probably somewhere near the middle, the commandos to help set people up where you're going to want them to be, preemptively clear that area up. That way you don't get move blocked and delayed too much. Overall on this list, it's a pretty good list. It does bring a lot of the great things that Orcs wants. It does have AdWAPAs, as we want. And I'm actually looking into using Maz and Gaz on the same list as well. Some people might think that's too much redundancy and too much point cost. I'm willing to hear that argument, but we've seen a lot of very, very elite kind of character-based lists do well at the GT level with Orcs. So over investing in characters doesn't really seem to be too much of a thing with Orcs. And in reality, Gaz and Maz are ideal into 2 different profiles, right? They're ideal into 2 different kind of things that you want to punch into. If it has an invuln, and it doesn't really care too much about AP, hey, Maz might be better going into an Avatar of Cain or something like that. But Gas himself would be better going into something like the Norn Emissary still does have a 4-up invuln, but because the Norn Emissary does have a 2-up armor, then he also have a potential in the High Fleet Nexus to reduce AP by 1. Maz isn't really doing anything into him, right? Even the AdWAPA's Kill Choppa character by himself isn't going to deal with that. It's Gaz and his 2-up invuln, his capability to just stand there with the Norn and go toe-to-toe is something that would be different that the Orcs don't want to deal with, aren't used to having tools to deal with. Also, just Leagues of Voltan units as well. Gaz himself starts kind of chewing through them when Maz himself might have an issue because of his AP1. So in reality, Maz ends up looking like more of a bullet sponge on this list, and Gaz is the one who's really going out there to deliver. And I actually do like to see that. Of course, we have the Beast Boss in there. Do I think Cunning Babrual and Super Cyborg are necessary? No, I don't. And if I would, but what would I try to do in place of that? Because you're kind of strapped on points, it's really hard to say. If there was a way to fit another Grot units on this list, I would see them being pretty important. Pretty important to try to bring another unit of Grots on this list. Help yourself kind of screen the backfield. So I don't know if when I transferred, I erased one. I might have on accident, but hopefully I didn't. But if all in all, that's what I would say. So combine those Squinghog boys units. You're really going to have to kind of use the commandos to make room. So that you can actually get these units where you want them to be, like the Killer Cans, Maz, Gaz. And the fact that you don't have a big scalpel unit means that Gaz himself is going to have to kind of help you scalpel out anything you're going to do. You're going to really want to make sure you're going to use grenades on this list. You enjoy your bomb squigs from the commandos and prepare to throw grenades into people, because you don't have, if any of these units start to get kind of whittled down, you'll lose some of their offensive capability with the Killer Cans. So it almost comes into question as, would you rather one big unit of Killer Cans? I'd still say no, because they're just too susceptible to battle shock. So Killer Can 3-mans, outflank them. Strategic reserve them, bring him in from Ingrass. I see that being a great way to play him. Let me see what the guys say. Make sure none of you guys, remember guys, whatever you guys say, speak up, because the player will end up seeing these most likely from our Discord. You can give good feedback if I missed anything from there too. What about a Power Claw, a Kill Saw plus a Power Claw versus Twin Kill Saws? Just 5 attacks seems better, doesn't it? 2 attacks limits the Twin Kill Saws, or am I way off? So you choose a profile to fight with when you're choosing your allocate your attacks in 40k. You don't get to fight with both profiles. That's why extra attacks is kind of like its thing. So you don't get 5 attack. Well, I guess that actually is how it works now, huh? Actually, now you made me just think, because that is, well, I have seen people do that. I was gonna say it doesn't work that way, but in reality it does. So I've seen people do that. 5 attacks does make a huge difference. You're not way off. Actually, now that I think about that, I'm pretty sure I have seen that on list being used too. The difference with the strength is an issue, but as a whole, especially when you're with Gaz, that actually could be an option as well. So you can consider that as to putting 1 and 1, especially if you have the bits and you feel like going hand in hand. You got Gaz. Gaz can actually make that optimal. So we actually have your list on here too, Cal. I love playing Killer Cans. Have played them a lot, and I think reserves is the way to go. It allows them to get on the board way quicker than normally good and get in range with those rockets. Yes, get in range of those rockets and not get sniped out from enemy long range weapons, right? So yeah, this list, not bad, Jug. Like I'm gonna say, get those boys together. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Exactly. It's way off because you can only select one weapon in combat unless they have extra attacks. So that's why you cannot do that. Because you can choose to have power claws, can choose to have kill saws. I've seen people use that because they want the difference in profile as they don't like the -2 attacks. But all in all, I'm still in favor of just twin kill saws because you need the additional AP. That's really the whole point of it. So like, yeah, that's what I said in the beginning of the statement. You can't really do that because unless they're extra attacks, but I assumed you get what you were trying to say here, having the variety of can I go into more attacks or into kill saw attacks. I have seen people do it. I really have. I've seen people even go like bring shooters, combi shooters with their mega knobs. I'm not in favor of that, but you can. Because everybody likes to play a little different. So I'll never tell people like, no, this is the only way to play them. I have actually seen people mix the melee weapons on your mega knobs. I'm still in favor of the twin kill saws. If you are putting the 1 and 2, you're not going to get necessarily 5 attacks, but you do get options to get more attacks because you can choose, into this unit, I might my power claws because it goes up to 3 instead of just straight up 2, because 2 is just a very big problem. What do you think about Grot tanks over Killicans? I think Grot tanks are actually a bit more competitive as a whole. It does come down to the fact that the Killicans give you the melee potential as well, and they get you up to those 3 damage attacks that you really want to see. So, overall, but movement is king in 40k. So the Grot tanks being able to just move very quickly, get all their extra capability from their data sheet rules. I do like to think, especially when you're just talking about straight up rockets, because I like ignoring cover too. So it's like, it's not really a direct substitute, is what I'll say. It's not a direct substitute because once the Killicans move up into the mid board, you're not mad if they start getting charges off. Compared to the Grot tanks, which the Grot tanks themselves aren't really looking to get charges off. They're looking to kind of stay back, shoot, and then when someone gets in range of them, yeah, and then once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal move or fall back within 9 inches of this unit, if it's not engagement range, it can make a normal move up to 6. So they can move again. They already moved 6. They can move again if someone gets close to them, but they don't have an offense for fighting, and their rockets don't even have twin links, so it's not like you're really relying on that. The Killicans themselves are getting the ignore cover, plus they start to charge, get into combat, and they're actually appreciating the wall because that's our great army rule. So all in all, Grot tanks are highly competitive because of the great mobility. They have ablative wounds. They're at cheap point cost. You're still getting 4 models. You're getting a lot of wounds still. But you can't directly substitute them for Killicans because Killicans are trying to run up the table and get into combat as well. If they do get into range of gas, then they're actually going to get the lethal abilities from gas too. So that'd be great. The second list we're going to look at is Calv. So he brought Captain Badrock. Yeah, exactly. The cans bring an advantage because they actually participate in the WAAAGH. The Grot tanks do not. So we have Calv here. Calv has a Captain Badrock, 1 mech with Quinn Killsaw and the Mega Slugger. We have a Knob with Wall Banner, a War Boss, and Zagrot Wartsnagga. 20-man unit of boys. 1 got the rocket. 1 truck. 1 unit of Death Copters, 1 big unit of Flashgifts for Captain Badrock, 2 Warbiker units. We have a Gorkanaut, 3 10-man units of Gretchen, 2 Killican units, 3 mech guns, all with custom mega cannons. That's what I like to see too. And then 2 Stormborgers units. So he actually has 4 of the small scoring units on top of the Death Killer War Trike. So that's quite some redundancy when it comes to mission play, as well as he has a bunch of split wounds when you look at all these mech guns as well. There is something to say about the fact that you do have 30 Gretchen in your backfield, and you also have 3 mech guns in your backfield. Screening won't be an issue for you, hypothetically. What I want to see a little bit more on this list is some actual combat punch or prowess. To be honest, so You do have the Gorkanaut. He's pretty great. On this list, though, he does become a very obvious target for the enemy that does have any kind of anti-tank weapons, because he's only kind of oscillated as alone. There's not even a Mazrog on the table, or a Gaz, or a Beast Boss and Squigosaur, or Squighog Boys, or a Battle Wagon. There's nothing really there that will ever divert any of those weapons away from him. You might end up reserving him. It's not even terrible to reserve him. I'm just saying that you can you might want to consider reserving the Gorkanaut for that reason. But then we look as, oh, well, I can't reserve the Gorkanaut and the Killicans, and we just went over the fact the Killicans are probably reserved. What I do like about this list is you do have Zagrot, so you can move up the table, start playing the middle of the table very quickly, considering the rest of your mission is kind of slow. When I mean it's slow is because you have these Killicans and these mech guns. They're kind of just sitting where they're going to sit. You do have the one truck for the flash gits, but flash gits aren't really moving into the middle of the table. All in all, what you're missing here is that mid board. I need more chunk. I need more stuff to kill, more killiness. And the Nod with Wall Banner is a great chuck with the War Boss, but you don't have Follow Me Lads on there. Follow Me Lads is actually quite important to this, because Follow Me Lads plus Here We Go is how you get that optimal threat range out of this big brick when you declare its wall. So what would we say here if we're trying to concise this up? You don't need, I don't think you need, at least. It does help sometimes. It really does. But we're looking for more killing potential. If you're bringing Def Coptas, you don't really need 2 Storm Boys and 2 War Bikers and Def Coptas. One of those 5 units can be taken down, to reduced a little bit, and maybe 1 mech gun unit. Because you do need to start opting for more killing melee units in here, especially something that has a little bit of AP. I don't know what your collection is. I don't know what it may be, but I would consider maybe a small scalpel unit, maybe even a Beast Boss, Beast Snagga Boys and Fighting and Foot in a Truck, something like that. If you can start to kind of thin some of these out to fit a bit more of that fighting. But I do like the Gorkanaut with the Killicans. And Zagrot is one of the 1 characters that I would consider maybe going somewhere. As well as the mech. So the mech, I'm up in the fence about. I don't really necessarily hate, because giving the Gorkanaut +1 a hit at will, giving the flash gits, then the truck +1 a hit might be nice. But all in all, when I actually play with my flash gits, and I think optimal players do too, you have to, if you do bring the flash gits in from reserves, which some people do, you can immediately disembark from the truck from strategic reserves, which means the mech won't matter. Also, when you do go to play with the Captain Badrock and the Gits, and you go to take up let's say a firing lane, it is kind of best to disembark as well, because you want to pop lethal wounds, and you want to also have the potential to overwatch if anybody wants to counteract charge you, or if they're playing that gun kind of army where they want to move back and forth. You want to let them know, hey, I can overwatch you with this unit, and even the threat of that is a part of the reason why you play with flash gits. So leaving them in a truck and using it as just a safe bunker isn't necessarily optimal all the time. That's where like threat saturation with orcs comes into play, where, hey, you're not going to shoot my flash gits because I have so many other things in your face. So like if they're going to be shooting the big unit of Knob with Wall Banner Boys, they're probably not going to throw their small arms fire into your flash gits. Therefore, you might want to disembark your flash gits and get value out of their shooting and their rerolls. And he replied, because he's here, I strat reserve flash gits. Truck was for Zog to scout, move, and screen. Okay, so he actually wants to bring him in from reserves. That's cool too. That's totally fine. And then he puts his trucks because he wants to put the Zagrot and the trucks into the Grots in them. So that's a fun little package, like a 180 point package to run out and screen, because you do have to bring in the stuff from strategic reserve. So you are looking to do that, which means you're probably not doing it for all your Killicans, and the Gorkanaut is therefore susceptible to anti-tank firepower. So I do want to see a little bit more fighting on this. Like I said, I need a little bit more crumping. I need knobs, even a small unit, maybe even Beast Snagga Boys. Honestly, even a 10-man unit of boys with an additional war boss might be something to be taken into consideration. But one of these mech guns may be going somewhere, and one of these more scoring things. But all in all, I do like its board presence. You know, there's times that people aren't going to be able to just shoot their work run out away. And the fact that you are looking to take up the middle of the table and give that long threat range of the knob with wall banner means that you are going to immediately start playing the mission, immediately take over the board. And you're really just going to have to hope that the enemy doesn't have the most efficient profiles to kill all of this stuff away, because you do have a nice little kind of spread of like weird toughness, little armor saves, little units here and there between all the little mech guns and the grots and the def coptas. And this knob with wall banner tech piece is going to favor you. But if you have this knob with wall banner tech piece, what are you really looking to wall with on the rest of your list? Because you only have the killer cans and the Gorkanaut that are going to enjoy the rest of that wall outside of the knob with wall banner. So that's another reason why I say you need just a little bit more crumping on this list, and that's up to you to figure out which and what. But I don't hate it. I like the theme because it does have some things I like the knob with wall banner, Captain Badrook, the Gorkanaut. I think the Gorkanaut's a little slept on. So yeah, find another way to fit a little bit more crumping in here, I think, and you'll be good. You need a little bit more stuff that's going to enjoy the wall, because right now it's just the 2 killer can units and the Gorkanaut. They're going to be enjoying the wall outside of the knob with wall banner. But overall, I really like the list. Good flavor. This was from Budgit. I might have moved your name wrong, buddy. So Budgit gave me this list. Let's look what he says. So we have, wow, interesting. I see a lot of you guys are using Zod Wartsnagga. And that's, he comes in waves. I've seen him come in waves several times where he's been on a bunch of GT lists that do great, and then all of a sudden he's nowhere. So hey, it is what it is. So we do, I think it really does come down to player and your terrain. Like, hey, I know when I play here, I can stage him, That doesn't matter. So we got Captain Badrook, Zagrat Wartsnagga, Big Mech, and Mega Armor with the custom force field. And then we got a War Boss as the Warlord. Battle line, we have a big unit of boys, it looks like, because there's just 170 worth of battle line. So these are just 2 10-man units of boys. With the Power Claws rockets. Am I reading this wrong? Oh no, I am reading it wrong. It's shooters. The other 10 boys have melee, and then 2 of them have rockets. So that's a mixture unit right there. That's pretty funny. Right? Am I reading this wrong? Yeah, it says right there, shooters. I'm like, I had to read it twice. That's how it caught me off guard, you guys, because I didn't look over these lists ahead of time. I wanted to kind of go over them on here. So it's pretty fun. He brought shooters. Interesting. Definitely not the most competitive, but hey, dude, bring whatever you want. So we know we got Flash Gits, 1 unit of Gretchen, but it says Gretchen because I erased the G on accident. Commandos, you see the knob has a chopper. I assume you mean to put Power Claw there. You just didn't edit it. You have 1 10-man unit of Ludas. Well, of course, 8 of them are Ludas, 2 of them are Spanners. I like the rockets as well. I don't think it's worth killing yourself with the custom blaster. Another 10-man unit of Ludas. I really hope you're actually optimizing plunging fire with both of these units. That'd be really pretty dope. Mega Knobs, a 3-man unit and a 2-man. I'm sorry, it's a 3-man in a unit, and then another 2 in the unit that have twin kill saws. So this is where we see 3 have custom shooters and then have power claws. Yeah. So and then you have the knob with power claw. Of course, everybody loves the scalpel unit in the 10-man unit, a Stormboy unit, and then is it just 1 Stormboy unit? It is 1 Stormboy unit, followed by a battle wagon and 3 mech guns all in 1 unit. Huh. So I'm like looking like, wait, why did he do that? With Bubba Chuckers. All 3 have Bubba Chuckers. And then you have 3 individual trucks. So let's see here what you're trying to do. So one thing I would say right off the bat, not to hurt your feelings, separate these 3 guns, mech guns, into 3 individual guns. You don't really need them to be 1 unit. No need to take battle shock. No need to be debuffed and be forced to spawn them all together in your deployment zone. So split those up into 3 units right off the bat. Ludas, I'm not sure based off this. Let's see, you do have flashes going in a truck. You have the knobs going in a truck. And mega knobs. Okay, so that means your Ludas most likely will actually be on terrain getting plunging fire. I'm assuming based off the fact that your trucks actually have stuff already in there. You don't have a mech, so that should be pretty good. And be sure to put them objective overlooking objectives. You do have a good amount of dock on this list. You just have a nice volume of 2 damage shots all over the place because of your flash gets 2. It's a great way to have a different kind of variety. I'm seeing here this these big unit of boys. Not necessarily sure what character support they're getting, if they're getting just them by themselves or they're going into reserves, but that's pretty interesting. The 3-man unit of Mega Knobs, or 5-man unit of Mega Knobs with the Big Mech and Mega Armor, definitely use that as your anchor, right? So if you have your anvil. So remember, you have your hammer and your anvil. That's what I like about this list. The more I'm looking at it, is you very clearly do have your anvil with your Mega Knobs. You don't have something like a Maz, so they are really your main kind of anvil. So you're gonna have to choose them like sparingly. When you separate these 3 mechans into 3 different units, that'll actually help you too when you deploy, because you're gonna have this big gun line of Ludas, mech guns, and then your flash kids jumping out of a transport. As for and you have your battle wagon, so that's something that I actually left hanging. I want to know what you're doing with your battle wagon. So interesting. Sorry, I don't know how I even noticed that. You do have your battle wagon, so there's a chance that this git is not putting these guys in terrain. There's a chance that he's leaving them in the battle wagon and just straight up shooting out of it. That would be hilarious. And he actually does have some killing potential with combat. So this is a weird kind of throw off the line of, I have a bunch of DACA, I have a bunch of shooting, I have a nice volume, and I do have some melee potential when you do get into combat with me. It's a weird way to decide to play the WAAAGH, a really off meta, but it does have some of the tools, and especially if you do end up utilizing plunging fire with the Ludas, I can see them actually getting you some value. It has just enough mid-table presence that I'm not mad about it, because the battle wagon does bring some meat, and it doesn't really die that quickly because it has its own built-in armor of contempt. What's something to keep in mind about this list? Make sure you're very, very efficient when you're deploying, because you're really not that fast other than your transports. And if someone does recognize right away that the biggest threat on this list is your knobs, and they try to eliminate them out, then after that they can kind of steamroll, walk you over, because you don't have anything else that's ready to fight like that. So I like this list. It's a really different, fun way to run the DACA. You can let me know how it goes, because I know some people sleep on Ludas, but Ludas have been shown to do good if you place them in the right positions. I don't know exactly what you're doing with that battle wagon. Like I said, maybe you told me and I failed you. I don't think you did, though. Maybe you did, but I might have failed you. But this is a very interesting, different way to show this. As I looked. Yeah, you just wanted to use them. Yeah, okay. So I didn't miss anything out. Sorry, I'm looking to make sure. Oh, there's a commando unit in here. Did I miss that? Oh, there's a commando unit that I'm not thinking of. There we go. Gosh, guys, how did I mess that up? Oop, wrong list. There's a commando unit that I'm listing up. So you do have a little bit more mid-table presence than I was expecting there. So very cool. So this list actually has more play into the game that I'm thinking, and he's thinking of, yeah, he's thinking about putting the battle wagon either with the knobs or the mega knobs in there too. So yeah, it depends. It does really depend, because if you're trying to hold that side of the table, the battle wagon would actually help you, right? Don't forget the tank shock with the battle wagon pop out, because that's going to help you with that offensive capability on that side of the table too. So all in all, I'm really digging this list for the fact that you're just bringing what you want to bring, and you're not going into Squig Hog Boys. You can see this is not a Beast Snagga related list, but he does bring a lot of the very strong, durable units that we're going to want to see in there. So yeah, very funny, very cool. Just be sure to optimize your commandos. Don't let them given away right away. Don't throw them away with their, in an early game charge for no reason. They are only strength 4. Be sure to always have your CP so you can throw some grenades. Be sure to separate these mech guns, in my opinion. And what else? And your trucks are going to really have to be used optimally, even in late game and such like that. So be smart, be wise, but that's a fun list that you have. Choosing to use commandos and Grot to walk up into the middle of the table. Very cool. I like that list. Okay. And now we have Wicked Joe's list. So let's see what Wicked Joe says. Actually, let me look at some of your guys' chats before I continue on, because I was just running through these. I have tons of cans and Grot kinks now. I am dead certain we will have an armored detachment in spring. Yeah, me too. I'm pretty sure on that. I think we're going to have some pretty fun things going on with the detachment rules based off the Space Brains, based off the Tyranids. That's why when I did that prediction video, I started to look out the box and really start to be creative, because that's where my hobbying is kind of going towards as well. So I'm looking preemptively, like We're going to have a big detachment of mechs. We're going to have a detachment of a Green Tide. We're going to have a Speed WAAAGH, because that's what GW is very much doing. Hello. Whoa! Sorry, I assume that's what you meant. Just watched the other stream, and I was able to catch this one. You know, the other stream, I felt like I could have done a little better, to be honest. Especially when like presenting the wall, not with wall banner. I should have mentioned earlier some things, but hey, you know, trying to get better at these. It's one thing to do edited videos, and then another thing to do them live. I'm doing these live. I'm trying to present my ideas live, which makes it a little harder. But at the same time, it's because I like to hear what you guys say. I just think I should have done a little better last video. But nice to see you. Dave must have a hot date. Don't know what that is, but that's awesome. 100% not optimal, but it's a heavy shooting list. I wanted to see if I can make it work. I did end up scoring 80 points in the game I played. So yeah, that's pretty good scoring. But like I said, you might have needed, if you didn't win that game, it might have been because you needed something else to run up there and fight with. So I like that. Like you said that already. Late. Whoa! I won my last 1,000 point game list because Zod and 20 Grots were able to top 2 units of Outriders, covers 2 objectives, and Kong line over half the board. That's amazing, especially, yeah, 1,000 points, that would be so freaking annoying to try to kill. And I still think Zod is overall a good choice for that and kind of bottling people in the middle of the table. He does require some skill, and also you know your own metas. If someone has a lot of small arms fire flamers, he's not going to be as optimal. What if running 2 looters need character support? I run big mechs, 1 full unit on the floor with KFF. Try to get other in UN. What? So I didn't understand what I do if I'm running 2 looters and need character support is I run big mechs. 1 is a full unit on the floor with the KFF. So you're talking about like the big mech with custom force field for 55 points? Yeah, he's cheap character support if you decide to give him some. I don't think they very much need him because their point is to be shot and shoot like cheap if they get shot. If I understand what you're trying to say, but yeah, that's if you want to. If you're running a big man unit, maybe. Especially on 1,000 points, you might want to keep them alive. Have to be careful when you Congo line because it ends up in a unit coherency. Yeah, exactly. You have to be careful, but you know, we all do our thing. Battle wagons, a solid strategy. Yeah, I think battle wagons are slept on all the time too. You're always worried about, oh, these guys can shoot my tanks away. And in reality, you're taking some pretty great saves when you have armor of content built in for free and you have like cover in those battle wagons. So yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they should be looked down upon. And then we do it live. We do it live. And I think as I get better at this as a whole, you know, a part of me could be that I need to write my, you know, my notes sooner and kind of go over them a little better. I could get better at this, but you know, stuff like today, I really thought put that in mind, and yeah, I hope to do better. So, last but certainly not least on this list of reviewing today, we have Wicked Joe's Beast Snagga list looking like. So we have Beast Boss and Squigosaur with Super Cyborg body. Wait, I don't know if that was supposed to be there. I'll just assume maybe I meant to put that, or that's not supposed to. Maybe you meant to put Cunning But Brule because he already has a Fort Field Pain built in. So I'll assume you just incorrectly clicked the wrong thing. Then we got Mazrog's Greg Bag. We got Naban Smash Squid with Ed Wappa's Kill Choppa. And then we got Follow Me Lads on your Naban Smash Squid. Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. I like that. Yeah. Follow Me Lads is totally fine on them. It makes them better, even more quick. So we got 2 war bosses and 2 weird boys. I don't think that's too much, to be honest. Some people might be like, what the heck? I don't really think that's too much, but we'll see what the rest of the list looks like. Oh, actually, it's not too much. Good looking at his list. Be weird boy, you want redundancy because there is a good chance he kills himself, or you're gonna blow yourself up. As a whole, because when you do need that secondary done, when you do need the teleportation done and you roll the 1, it could just throw your whole game. So bringing in 2 of them for the 55 point cost. And even if you're like, you get it off freely, hey, you can just reposition with the other unit. So it's not bad to have that redundancy. Redundancy is key in 40k. So we have 1, 2. 1, 2, what is that? Yeah, 2 units of boys, I guess, for that. We have 2 knob units with power claws, so double the scalpel unit and double the Beast Boss and Squigosaur, Squig Hog Boys units, because you have the 2 knobs and Smasher Squig, and then you have a Storm Boys unit, 2 trucks. So this list is like straight up, I'm bringing all the killy, all the beef. You're trying to go toe to toe with people, because this is a ton of character support followed by all big bricks of killing. Do I think you could just overrun some people? Yeah, I do. I think you can very much run some people over here. But if you do start running into very skilled players, they're going to start taking advantage of the fact that you just have big bricks, and try to kill them, either move block them, delay them, tie them up, set them up in traps, get bad trades out of them, fight in death, stuff like that. If there's someone who built their list into playing like fixed secondaries, you're throwing away assassinate here for an easy points for them. It's only easy because the weird boss and the war boss and all those knobs and smash queens are going to get killed. Eventually, Maz and will die probably too. So, all in all, I think for sure, if you're just talking about straight gut check, run people over, put orc stats into them in an effective way, yes, you're very much doing it, and you still have potential to keep playing. But if you start running into certain people that are really skilled, if they bring nurglings and get in your way, so your trucks and your squig hog boys units can't get out, that might be annoying. If they have the potential, like a world eater's lift, to countercharge you instead and take away some of your bricks killing potential, that's going to be an issue. If they can stop your knobs from disembarking, then you don't have other things to skirmish with on the other parts of the board. That might be an issue. Indirect fire, if they pop your trucks and start killing some of your knobs because you don't have other things. So because everything's all stuck in bricks. So just keep that in mind when you're playing that, when you are committing into like a stat check kind of thing. You're challenging other armies to do exactly the way they want to play 40k instead of playing the way orcs generally play a 40k, which is like a lot of trash, a lot of stats, and a lot of stuff all over the board. But straight up stat checking people on our killing potential is a way to play. Is it the most optimal? Maybe not, but you can still go, 4 out of 5 games get straight up wins because people just don't have the firepower to deal with you and can't take a punch from you either. So no, I think that's pretty great. Is there any way that I would, like I said, I'm assuming Super Cyborg Body is intended to be a fallback in charge, because that guy tends to get bogged down a lot, and the redundancy in your weird boys is going to be nice. Is there something that you would want to do here? I would try to get some Grots on the list, to be honest. You need to kind of screen your backfield. You have no way to screen your backfield to be an issue. As soon as those weird boys move out to start doing objectives, you've opened up your backfield as well. So, yeah, I think maybe dropping like a follow me lads and the fallback in charge capability. Maybe one of your, you can't even drop a war boss. Maybe one of your smasher squigs, bring him down as well, splitting up those squig hog boys into 2 3-man units so you can kind of play all over the board a little bit more, and then use those points between dropping a knob on smasher squig and 2 of those enhancements to bring some more grots on the table, because grots in themselves with their CP regeneration, their cheap OC, stuff like that matters a lot. So yeah, that's how I would say with this list. You just need a little bit more stuff, and I would say that would be with dropping 1 knob on smasher squig, splitting that big brick into 2 small bricks, and then getting rid of 2 out of those 3 enhancements and just retaining Edwapis Kill Choppa. That's how I think that would go, in my humble opinion. But it brings all the stuff that I like, so not hating on you. So this get asked me, why do you like Grot tanks so much? I'm a fan of Grot tanks. I didn't put them in A tier. But a lot of people are. I just think that they're a great way to have a different kind of way to get into rockets, somewhat reliable shooting. They're 4 models at 155 points, T6. They have a 3 up base armor save, which is excellent, right? They're not even sitting around with the 4 up armor save. They have 5 wounds per Grot tank, right? So a Killacan has 5 wounds as well, but you're paying 150 points for 3 of them, compared to Grot tanks, you're paying 155 points for 4 of them with the same amount of wounds, with 10 inches of movement and then reactive movement, as well as they have 2 OC each. So why do I like them? Because 1, they're giving great rocket potential that we just lack in general. You really like when those rockets get off. 2, they have reactive movement, which is just a really good skill-based ability that you can take advantage of. 3, they have the ablative wounds, so even anti-tank weapons have a hard time chewing through them all reliably, because you're going to use the anti-tank weapon, kill 1 Grot tank, 3 are going to be left over, stuff like that. So all in all, Grot tanks are just like, they don't appreciate the wall, which is why I did not put them in A tier in my tier list video. They were just at the top of like the B list type tier, because I think to be up in the A tier, be really optimal for orcs, you do want to compete in the actual WAAAGH turn. You actually do want to enjoy getting stuck in combat. But it's not everything, because having great points per wound, being a ablative wounds, having OC, and having great movement help counteract that. So all in all, they're an excellent unit. They are a skill-based unit, and they do require you to kind of base the rest of your list kind of complementing them. So yeah, remember, compared to killicans, you're getting more rocket shots, you're getting more wounds for cheaper points and more movement, but the killicans are giving you the potential to actually get stuck in. So yeah, and it's because so many rockets. Also, for Grot tanks, you can get a second set of rocket launchers. Yeah, you can get more rocket launchers. So, and that's why they're worth it. As someone who preps to go in front of a camera for a living, you're doing great. Sure, can a little prep a little more. Make sure you want some notes talk, but overall, great. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I do think I have to get better. Like we've only been doing this channel since like July, and we're in October right now. At the time of this recording. Happy early Halloween to any of you guys as well. I'm going to be Shrek this year. I'm not even kidding. That's my plan. So yeah, those were the lists that I went over today, guys. And how I did this is just another thing that I want to start bringing. Right, we're gonna have. I'm gonna do. So we're gonna do the hobby stream videos. I'm gonna show pictures, and then I'll also do lists. So that's gonna be 1-on-1. I'm just busy this week, but I'll be less busy the future week. So this should be going on. I really want to do more community interaction, talking to you guys, getting your ideas, going back and forth and such like that. Overall, yes, I like to know competitive play. I like to know the meta play, but we like to talk about things as a whole. One thing I wanted to talk about, talking about notes I could have done with any of the combinations when we were talking about lack of AP being a problem with Ludas or your flash gets. What could be kind of funny, you guys, is a burner bomber. Yes, I said a burner bomber, because if you fly over an enemy unit with your burner bomber, you can take away the benefits of cover. So if you want your Ludas to really have a way to go, you really want a way to get your flash gets off. Maybe even your burner boys, you feel like you're reliably burner boying something. Oh, I guess they would ignore cover. That was stupid. But if you really want to get your low AP volume of shooting through, there's a chance that if you include a burner bomb on your list for 125 points, you can ignore the benefit of cover on that unit, really take advantage of your Grot tanks, stuff like that. So just weird things like that, that like we were talking about, is this isn't all about competitive play. We're really about just enjoying our index as a whole and finding new ways to play with the orcs. And not limiting ourselves or limiting ourselves in our own collections. A lot of people already own things, or are looking to kit bash things, stuff like that. Are tired of hearing about just playing beast snaggas. So both of the videos today were about that. Both of the videos revolved around playing stuff that's out of the box, different, yet still going to lead you to win games. And going over those lists too was about people to reinforcing what the ideas that we talk about, some of the ideas that I'm aware of, that we talk about in the Discord. So that being said, support us, because the more you support us, the more that I can prepare and be better for these videos, the more information I'll be gathering, and also more tactical videos, because I got to get into understanding how to use TTS and taking pictures in general from some of my games, get into doing that so we can get some more tactics up here, because I need some visual actual examples to help you guys to get a better understanding of what I'm trying to say. And I heard you guys, and that'll be the things I look forward to doing next. So if the chat doesn't have anything else they want to yell at me about, I'll be getting off soon. Exactly. And it's really about the gameplay you play and what the rest of your list looks like. That's why I don't ever say it's a direct trade out. It's not a direct trade out. Killicans are trying to actually walk up the board and compete. Grot tanks have an actual move to move away from the enemy. So they're actively trying to do the opposite thing of the Killicans. So they're not the same. Great live, Eddie. Thanks. I love to make a video about deployment, turn one movement strategies, considering different armies to go type, to go highlight that in tactics. Ooh, exactly what I was just saying. Yeah, that's what I need too. I tend to play a lot against melee armies. I have play against Tyranids a bit. So I have options to do all those things, and that's something that I need actual visuals, representations, and examples of, because I can just say it, but it doesn't help. I need visual on here, what the terrain looks like, the terrain I'm using when I'm giving the example of, and what armies I'm talking about. That'll definitely help, and it'll make it fun. I'll really make it fun to get presentations like that too. I would enjoy that. Said gonna hit that 1,000 lads soon. Whoa! Yeah, we are actually. That's the plan. Hopefully, get 1,000 by the end of the year. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't. That'll be fun. And it really does matter a lot, because once we get to that point, it increases what YouTube's willing to actually encourage us to be shown more, which encourages us to perform better and higher quality videos and helps us to actually do that too. And we got our cool little badges for our YouTube membership too. That's funny. Whoa, in the name of Mork or possibly Gork. Right? Yeah, TTS is your friend for that. Yeah, for sure. So TTS might have to be the way of the wall. And some of you guys. So if you guys are in the Discord too, we got that gaming Discord. Might have to set that up with some of you kids, because I know some of you guys use that TTS. So that'll be cool. Oh. An interesting idea for a video is talking about all your synergies, not just meta. For example, shock attack gun and the word boy, they synergize. One forces battle shock and the other reduces AP by leadership 1. Yeah. That was kind of what the video was earlier too, because they weren't all metas for this and such like that, but they were more like combos. But you're talking about synergies between combos that can come into play. So that could be something too, yeah, to keep in mind. Definitely have to with that. Like, for example, another one might be the knob with wall banner, giving Gaz taking advantage of Gaz's aura buff of lethals during a wall within 12 inches of him, or the knob with wall banner getting the abilities from the kill rig, or the kill rig during the combat phase again. That'd be another way if you can have like a combo kind of configuration. So yeah, I like that. Do you own any old Hammer figures? If so, show and tell. I don't actually. I got into Warhammer during 8th edition, so I never did anything tabletop before this. I was just straight up like a little bit of a meathead, to be honest. So yeah. So yeah, as we get off here at the 45-minute mark, I appreciate you gits. I appreciate you all. I'll do better next time if my presentation wasn't that great today on this week. But all in all, I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping I'm providing value. I can see the Discord is getting creative. Some of my predictions are coming true as well. Gaz is making his way into the meta. Everybody loves flash gits, as we all know about that. And knob scalpel units cannot be slept on. Also, don't ever forget about mega knobs, regardless of what people say about them. They're a great anchoring unit because armor staves matter. So, and also having your own AP matters. So don't forget about that. Our predators being Leagues of Voltan, Death Guard, and to a certain extent, possibly Space Marines. So, one thing to keep in mind is don't